about some of these woke companies. What did they do 2 years ago? Massive amounts of investment to BLM. Now, what did the BLM leaders do with that? They bought mansions with that money. Have you seen how many mansions some of these people are now living in? So that was a total fraud, and a lot of these companies pumped a lot of money into that. And so that's just what we're doing. So today, we are announcing that we're going to take some action administratively, but we're going to work with Speaker Renner to make sure that we have statutory reforms so that we're putting the people of Florida first, and we're going to do what's in their best interest, not whatever the delusions of some wealthy, woke CEO wants to do. So that means a number of things. One, we're going to prohibit the State Board of Administration fund managers, which is the State Board of Administration is the state of Florida's entity that manages the state of Florida's pension funds. So, you know, it's close to $200 billion. It was probably $200 billion. The market's gone down. So it's, but it's a lot of money. And so we want to make sure that they are not using political factors when investing the state's money. We want them to invest the state's money for the best interests of the beneficiaries of those funds, which is, again, the people that are retired cops and teachers and other public employees. We also are going to require SBA fund managers to only consider maximizing the return on investment on behalf of Florida's retirees. I think that's what people want to see. They want to see a good pension system. We also are going to prohibit Wall Street banks, credit card companies, and money transmitters like PayPal from discriminating against customers for their religious, political, or social beliefs. They're using things like social credit scores to be able to marginalize people that they don't like. And we'll hear from some folks that have experience with that. But the thing about the politicization of the economy in this way, it benefits the largest, most powerful corporations, and it disadvantages the small and medium-sized businesses. And so this is not something that is empowering kind of the little guy. You know, this is something in many respects that is crushing the little guy. And so we want to make sure that we're standing on the side of average people. And look, there are different things where they've taken positions on. I mean, for example, when I was in Congress, one of the things that we did when President Trump was in office, we authorized oil from ANWR in Alaska. You know, Alaska, they wanted ANWR for a long time to be able to do this, massive amounts of energy there. And so this is a boon. I mean, not only were we energy independent prior to fully exploiting that before Biden really kneecapped it, that would be such a boon for our energy independence. But what happened was, you know, at the end of 2020, a lot of the Wall Street banks said they would not fund anything involving exploration or development in ANWR. So even though the people's representatives passed it, the president signed it, you know, they're saying that they're colluding and they're going to exclude any type of financing for doing that type of production, which of course would benefit our national security and it would benefit people at the pump. They also, many of these banks have said, we are not doing any financing or providing any services for contractors for immigration enforcement. So they're basically using their economic power to try to have open border policies, which is not good for this country. We even had a company here called the Geo Group, which does private, they do detainee ops for ICE, they'll do prisons, they do all kinds of stuff. And, you know, Florida, we use the services because we charge less when you do private, but you don't have to do it. It's up to the states to decide what they want to do. But all these Wall Street banks cut off the credit to the Geo Group because there were activists who want to abolish police, abolish ICE, that were giving them a lot of blowback for providing that financing. And so they weren't able, those activists cannot implement those policies through the ballot box. People don't want to abolish prisons. People don't want to abolish ICE. People don't want to defund law enforcement. And so they try to do it through the back door by basically kneecapping some of these companies. And so that is something that's wrong, and that's something that we do not want to see here in the United States.